Outpainting is incredibly easy to do. So outpainting is when AI analyzes an image and expands it by adding more details beyond the original borders. It's like zooming out of a photo and having the AI guess what the rest of the scene should look like. So for example, I can make a vertical image horizontal. It uses patterns from the existing picture to create new realistic looking content, and let me show you how to do this. So check the link in the description, it'll bring you over to this page. If you guys don't have a Hugging Face account, create one and sign in. First of all, major props to Multimodal Art for creating this Hugging Face space. Now you can see that this uses Flux, which has good image quality and prompt adherence. And if you're watching this tutorial right now, this is completely for free. I have not encountered any limitations or restrictions on the amount of outpainted images I can generate. So let's get started. So to do this, find an image that you want to use. I'll be using a vertical image, but you can use a horizontal image as well and even extend it beyond its borders. So you just drag and drop your image over here and let it upload. On the right hand side, you'll see history and mask. So just click on this drop down arrow and we will be using this in a moment. Now on the left hand side, you'll see prompt and it says it's optional, but you can type in a prompt over here to instruct the AI what it should be generating with the outpainted image. In my case, I always leave this blank because I want the AI to analyze my image and generate something based off what it sees in this image. So now here at the bottom, I want you to click on this drop down arrow by advanced settings because it's going to open up some more settings over here that we can utilize. But now going back to the top over here, you can see we have expected ratio. Now this is already a vertical image, but if you wanted to, you could generate a image in 9:16, and with 16:9 you're basically doing horizontal, and you can see whenever I click on those options over here, it also changes the settings at the bottom. You can also do 1:1, which is going to be a square image, and then custom, which really comes in handy. And with custom, you can actually adjust the settings over here, but the biggest dimensions you can go to with both the height and the width is 1536. So I'm actually going to just bring that back to the 16:9 settings for now. So the reason why I told you to click on the drop down arrow by history and mask is because I want to show you what this alignment is doing. So by default right now on 16:9 it's on middle, and I'm going to click on preview alignment and mask. Now you can see it generates an image over here. Now you'll see that there's a masked border around the image, which I will also be explaining. But the most important thing over here is alignment. You can see that this image is aligned in the middle, which means that the AI is going to outpaint from the mask and into this pink region over here that you see. All right, so I can basically align this to the left hand side. So I can click on left, click on preview. So now my image is all the way to the left, and the AI is going to essentially outpaint this entire region. So it depends where you want this image to be aligned on your final image before it actually gets outpainted. So I'm actually going to leave it on middle for this demonstration, and I'll click on preview alignment and mask. So as I mentioned over here, we can adjust the target width and height just by dragging the slider. As soon as you do that, it'll change it to custom. Okay, and then over here we have steps. So think of steps as a way to control the quality of an image. When you're usually generating these images, it's on 20 steps, but over here it's actually capped to 12. So I actually put this all the way on 12 because I want to try and get the best quality out of the generated image. So I always just leave that on 12. So this next section over here called mask overlap is actually really important. So it's this border that you see on your image. So anything that's contained within this border is also going to be outpainted. So by having a border on your image, you're basically allowing the AI to analyze this section of your image, and then it knows how to interpret it and essentially outpaint something that looks very similar. So you're basically giving the AI a sort of reference so that it knows how to outpaint the image. However, anything that's contained within this border is also going to change. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to show you an image that was generated with a mask overlap on 10 and then on a mask overlap of 3. Right, so here's our image generated on 10, and I'm going to maximize this. So remember, this was the border on the image, and it changed these elements as well while outpainting it. So this is awesome. We have a horizontal image right now, but on 10, this is what I mean. So whenever something's contained within a border, right? So here's the original image. This part of the ear over here was in a border, and you can see it's completely different to the original. This flower over here, for instance, that's contained over here by her dress was within the border, and that's why it's changed. So it does make the rest of the image look coherent, but that element of the image changed, right? Because it was contained in the border. So a better way to do this, in my opinion, if you don't want these elements to change, but you still want a coherent outpainted image, is to actually decrease the mask overlap value. So there's two ways to do this. You'll see over here there's an option to either select or deselect the overlapping region. So I can deselect the top and the bottom, and I can click on preview alignment, which means that I'm only allowing the AI to analyze this part of the image and outpaint it, and this part of the image and outpaint it. And I'll show you the result of that. So this is the result we get, and as you can see from the original image, nothing has changed over here by the ears, and at the bottom we still have this flower visible, but it's outpainted the rest of this image. So that's a great way to keep a consistency in your original image while allowing AI to fill in the missing information. And now another way to do this, and in my opinion the best way to do this, is to actually have all of this selected but decrease the mask overlap. So remember on 10 we've got a pretty thick border, but if I put this on a value of 3 right now and click on preview alignment, it's a lot thinner. But now I'm basically giving the AI something to reference on the entire border of this image without it intersecting with the elements that I don't want to change. I mean, you know, like some of these flowers might change over here, but more important elements like the bunny's ears and other stuff I don't want changed won't be changed because it's not in the border. But on a value of 3 it's a lot thinner, and the AI still has something to reference. So when I click on generate, this is the image I end up getting, which I think looks amazing, by the way. And you can still see I have these original elements in here. I still have the original bunny's ears, but it's outpainted this image, and I think that looks fantastic. And the fact that AI can fill in missing information like this, to me, is mind-blowing. Another really cool feature is the Resize input image. So think of this as zooming out of your image. On default it's on full, which means that it uses the full dimensions, and in this case it's only going to outpaint on either side. But if I put this on 50% and then click on preview alignment, the image is much smaller, and now the AI has to fill in the missing information around the entire image. So like I said, it's essentially zooming out. So now if I click on generate, and I'm going to leave my mask overlap still on 3, I'll click on generate and you'll see what it ends up giving me. So here is our zoomed out image. Now this one looks really nice. You can see it made this field much bigger. We've got some more flowers in here, some trees and these beautiful clouds. Sometimes you might see some borders on the image, but if you guys are using Photoshop, you can use clone stamp to get rid of issues like that. Or remember, we can just click on generate to get another result. And I notice sometimes with zooming out, you might get strange results like this, or even this. I don't know, the AI is struggling to interpret the image and actually outpaint it, but just click on generate again, because you can see I generated 3 more times and I got a much better result, right? Which I think looks great. Now when you zoom out of the image, it's not going to increase the resolution. Remember, it's still generating an image at these dimensions. So just keep that in mind. You can do an infinite zoom, but the resolution's not going to change. It means that it's going to take that image, make it much smaller, but the pixels on the image are not going to increase in size. But this is still cool that you can do a zoom out like this. And another tip, if you guys are trying to do these zoomed out images, maybe try and increase the mask overlap. If 3 feels like it's a bit too small for the mask on the image, maybe put it on 5 and see what results you end up getting, and then click on generate. It's all about experimentation and re-rolling that prompt to get something that you like. And here's another feature. So obviously we've got a history of all the images we've outpainted. Let's say I really like this one. I can basically drag and drop this image into my input, and now I can outpaint an outpainted image. So I can even extend this further. So now in this case, we actually have a horizontal image, right? We started with vertical, we made it horizontal, and now I can extend the horizontal image. So in this case, the dimensions of this image, we know that its width is 1280. So if I want it to be even wider, I can now increase this value. So now we'll be using a custom aspect ratio. So let's say maybe I want to go to 1536. And if I click on preview alignment, we'll put this on full, right? But you can see now I can extend it even further, right? And maybe put the mask overlap back on 3. So you can outpaint an outpainted image as well. And here's the end result. So here's our outpainted image, and here's our outpainted image. So yeah, it's cool. I really love this technology that you can do stuff like this. To save the images, you just simply click on this icon. Now it does save it in WebP format, which I personally hate, But if you guys are using Chrome, there's this extension called Save Image as Type. The link is in the description. So if you add this to your Chrome, you'll actually be able to right click on this image and you can save it as PNG. So this is optional, but I did want to show you as well. So if you actually put in a prompt, you can tell the AI what it needs to generate in the outpainted area of the image. So over here I said a flower field with pyramids and giant rabbits in a field. However, I do think this is hit or miss, because with my generation I did get the pyramids, which is awesome, right? I got some pyramids now in this image, but there's no giant rabbits. I don't know where the giant rabbits are hiding. But you can see with all of these generations, it definitely gave me pyramids. This one was obviously a bad generation, but I just clicked on generate again. But yeah, it does, the prompting does help you add other elements into your outpainted image if that's something that you want. So you can maybe give that a try and see what you end up getting. So yeah, I typed in monkeys and camels in the distance in a flower field. There's no monkeys, but there is camels. There's a little bit of a weird border on here. But yeah, like I said, it's a little bit more of a hit or miss if you try and use a prompt. And now I understand why it is optional. I actually prefer to let the AI analyze my original image to give me the best results. So that's going to be the end of this tutorial. So go ahead, extend your images, use the power of artificial intelligence and watch the magic unfold. I still think it's crazy that AI can fill in all of this missing information, and you can see just how easy this is to do using Hugging Face, and major props to multimodal art for allowing us to use this Hugging Space. You're awesome, and so are you guys who are watching this tutorial. So stay tuned for some more videos and tutorials, and goodbye.